No. So I just wanted to come on, man. That video is crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Just because they went to a school board meeting, they got gang stalked. Just because, like, that is just crazy, bro. And I'm like, wow. It's finally coming out. So go check out that video, man. It confirms it all, man. That is crazy. I also heard that Targeted Justice won a lawsuit. I think I actually signed up for it in 2020 for real. I signed the petition about gang stalking or whatever. Look at this white. Look at this van. No windows. Man, you gotta watch them vans with no windows, man. They snatching black women, black kids, teenagers, men by themselves. They doing too much. But yeah, that's crazy. That gang stalking video, that is crazy, bro. Ain't nobody even talking about it. And they won the lawsuit. Targeted Justice won a lawsuit. But hopefully everybody's Sabbath's going good. I know I had to come back on here again because I couldn't really talk outside like that. So, but like, man, this is crazy, man. Now we in 2023. Now all of it's coming out. They even said it on the video. They was put on a watch list. They're put on a watch list. That's remarkable. In open court. Dang, where is my tablet? For real, man, that's crazy. I'll find it eventually, I guess. I need to get another Bible, man. I think I did put it up there. There it is. All right, I got my tablet. Hold on. I'm about to pull that video up, man. That's crazy. Like, hold on, let me pull that video up. Y'all seen that Great State trailer, right? How many of y'all seen this trailer, man? Let me rewind this. I'm gonna show this. Look. How many of y'all seen this trailer? Hold on. See if I can hold it up. Hold on. Hopefully you guys can see this. Hold on. I think it's backwards. Hold on. Maybe I can mirror the... Man, you can't see nothing with it like that.
What is graceful?
Hold on. Let me try to show you like this. My bad. Hold on. Yeah, I think, it's too much light. The light is off. Hold on.
Gray State is.
Let me pause this. Like, for real, man. Like, this is crazy right here, too. Hold on, watch. So I gotta get rid of this glare. Trying to figure out how I can do that. Oh, just,
and it is
look.
Warning. We do not live in a dictatorship, but we do live in a police state. What we're going to see is the unveiling of this gray state foisted upon America. Americans believe that they can't do anything. And day by day, they're becoming correct. It's a game of numbers, and we're losing.
I showed this earlier on my other live. I remember I showed this on there before he got killed for trying to make that movie. That's messed up.
And there's something about it that just kind of gets on you, and you just can't wash it off.
Credibility means nothing to me. What I care about is truth.
I don't think you're missing anything. The only thing you're missing is why.
Yeah, that's messed up. Well, yeah, I guess watch that, I guess. That's crazy. I've showed that on this channel before, though. A long time ago. Yeah, I be showing people that stuff, man. This is crazy, man. The green. Wow, that's good. That's a deep one. But anyway, it's a lot going on, man. And a lot of people still sleep, so that's on them. At this point, I mean, that's on them. All right, been on for 6 minutes now. But anyway, man, make sure y'all watch that gang stalking video, though, man. I think we got about 45 views on it so far. Let's try to get it to 100 views. Watch that, man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Other than that, how is everybody been doing? Hopefully everybody been doing well, I guess. It's pretty rough these last days. Gotta duck and dodge these agents. They be trying to set you up too. They don't think you trying. They think that you forgot or something. You gotta watch them. They definitely be trying to set you up. I watched some of this video. What do y'all think about this chat HBT stuff? Oh, come on, man. Come on. There we go. Good little sound system on this thing.
In the service.
With new Cascade Platinum Plus, I load this and get this. Dare to dish differently.
Yeah, so as those individuals, you can just tell. And they're the ones that came in initially with pretty much questionable morals, right? And then they go through this and they go through this, godlike feeling, and they miss that high that they get on the battlefield, to where they're turning to other outlets to find that same experience. Because you also got to keep in mind that it takes a special person to join the military, to go down range and to fight, right? And once you're down there and you're experiencing it, while you're going through it, you're changing either for the good or for the bad. And yeah, because initially you're going in there because you want to protect, you want to serve. And then once you're there, it's gonna change. It's gonna turn you into something else, right? But there's a lot of different tools available to you, because the folks that are in charge overall, like, they know what it does to, guys like me and my buddies. They know what war does to us. So they have all these different things in place to hopefully, try to help us, to keep us on a path. But not everybody, always travel down that path. You still have ones and twosies that fall off.
Can you just explain what types of special forces there are, and why do certain guys go into that, and why do some just stay at the military level?
So a lot of guys go special forces because they want that challenge, right? They're super competitive in their own right, and they want to be the best of the best, right? So within the United States Army Special Forces, you have Green Beret Special Forces, which is who I am, right? And then you have the Navy SEALs. They have their own mission set, mostly revolving around water. Right, then you have combat controllers in the Air Force. They're typically attached to us, and they control all the air assets. So if we're on operation and we're in a gunfight, and we need bombs dropped from ahead, then those guys will talk Air Force to the plane, and then they'll drop bombs, right? And then you have the Marine Corps. They also have their own special operation team. We call them MARSOC, and they do a lot of water operations also, right? And of course, within the U.S. Army, you have different tiers. So I'm sure you've heard of SEAL Team 6 and a bunch of other ones, Hostage Rescue, so on and so forth. So there's different levels that special operations gets conducted at.
And so you don't plan on staying in the military in any capacity then? You're going to be fully retired soon.
So I love what I did. I love being a Green Beret. I love the mission that we conducted. And the camaraderie that I got from my team was just overwhelming. Like, I loved it so much that I did it for 15 years. I did the job at every level to include the leadership positions. And for me, it was more than just, gunfights and training. It was just the fact that I had a chance to mentor young men into, outstanding citizens. So that kept me in that space until I had to prioritize family over military. And then I decided to punch out at 20 years.
It's probably not a bad time to punch out the way things are going in the world right now. Well, on the topic of being in a gunfight, now you've been in several, you've talked about this on your channel. Obviously, I've never been in a gunfight, but I think I can kind of understand.
When it comes to firefights, I like to break them down into two separate categories, right? You have the surprise, and then you have the one that's planned. The one that's planned would be like an ambush. You go downrange, deploy somewhere, and you know the enemy is going to be in a certain location, and then you engage. You have fire superiority. You have the upper hand. That's an entirely different feeling as opposed to you are on a patrol, and then the enemy ambushes you. Once the enemy ends up, your brain is going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's looking for that file in there that says, "Hey, this is how you need to react to this situation." And then the training over, and then you start. But it's not fun at all. It is terrifying. It's terrifying, but it's something that we got for all the time.
Yeah, and that's the importance of that procedural memory, those motor skills, like you say, finding that file, amidst all the chaos, and then just turning it on and then becoming a bit of a machine in that situation and letting the training do the work. Hence the importance of that level of training. I think a lot of people, they're just thinking to themselves, well, I played Call of Duty for 10 hours a day. I'm just going to jump in and I'll figure it out on the fly. But as you're saying, that adrenaline is going to be paralyzing for the average person who's never, and if you don't have that file, you're pretty much, you're going to be like a deer in headlights, basically.
Exactly. And you see it happen all the time with some of these mass shootings, right? Because a lot of folks don't train it. So when the gun goes off, their instinct is, let me something to hide something, because some folks even have guns on them. Like if they don't train to automatically start acting, they're going to cover. And that's just the reality of it. But you have to train it over and over again, and you have to have a reason to act, right? So why do you want to survive? There's another reason that I like to tie into this. Why do you want to survive? Because that's also going to give you that combat mindset that you need to be able to take it to the enemy. Like, why do you want to survive? Why do you want to get out of this coffee shop? Is it because of your kids, your wife, like whoever? Like, you got to have that type of mindset if you want to survive certain situations.
So you're saying you almost need to conjure up like a mental image of the reasons, the things that are important to you in that moment to kind of override the fear and the panic of the situation that can compel you forward to take whatever appropriate action the situation calls for.
That's exactly correct, because one of the biggest things that, we as Special Forces operators train is combat mindset. Like, hey, we're going to go down range. At least for me, like when I go down range, I know, like, I'm not going down range just because the government wants me to fight and yes, I signed up in the Army, and that's part of my job. But when I'm on the battlefield, my job is to fight my hardest to bring my brothers to my left and to my right back home.
Wow.
Discover satisfaction.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical.
I don't even think about it, right? Because the reason why I'm there to protect my buddies to my left and my right overcomes that. So I'm automatically not aging. I'm not freezing up. Nothing is happening because if I do, then my buddy dies. It's the same concept I have when I'm back in the States. I'm protecting my wife. I'm protecting my kids. I'm protecting my mom, my dad. Like, I'm protecting civilians. Like, that's just who I am. That's why I want to be as possible. Because if a threat comes up, like, that's gonna compel me to act, right? Because if I'm gone, then I can't do any of those things. So that's how I tie into the combat mindset.
I think that's a very useful piece of information for people, what you just said. And, you know, I think in the very least, if somebody's not going to get training, if only to understand the emotions that they're going to be experiencing and how to overcome it, would be a useful tip. So in terms of the training, you guys actually do training. You have a company that's going to be doing training for military and civilians. Is that correct?
Greenberg Chronicles, it's not only a YouTube channel, but I also have a different part of the company that does a lot of special forces prep, helping guys get ready for selection, whether it's foot, it's air, how to pack your rucksack, how to conduct land navigation. Like, we do majority of that stuff for the candidates. And if civilians are interested in it, they can go on the website, they can get all that information from there, and they could go through those same classes. And then they can travel to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is where I am, and I'll take them through a land navigation PE, teaching them how to do all that stuff.
And how long is a course like that?
The course is actually self-paced. So it's a bunch of PowerPoints on there, and then I've converted majority of those PowerPoints into audio. So it's a subscription-based model, so guys can go on there and listen to it at their own will. And if they have any questions about a certain topic, they reach out to me directly, and then I help them out.
And so, but you're actually doing, there's a on-the-ground component to this.
Yes. So the land nav aspect of it, it takes 1 or 2 days to go through the entire land nav course. 1 or 2 days. I'll be down there with them, just teaching them how to conduct land navigation. If they need help on packing their rucksack, how to take care of their feet, I'll take them on a tutorial and actually show them how to do all that stuff. Because in my opinion, it's all basic skills that everybody should know how to do.
Yeah, so in terms of basic skills, you know, you see all the gear on the wall. We were talking before the thing started about how you have aspirations to build your own war wall of sorts, but your wife won't let you. Hopefully, you know, after she sees all these subs that you're going to get. But what's going in your bug out bag if the proverbial shit hits the fan?
So for me, I like to keep it simple, right? Because the last 20 years, I've been learning how to live off the land. So my basic necessities would be, of course, the bag itself, good socks, and then a good pair of spare boots. Then I'll have a fire starter kit. All right, I'll have a sleeping bag, tie-down tablets, so I can grab water and make sure that it's safe to drink. I'll have a couple MREs here and there. And then I will have a lot of ammo and guns. Everything else, in my opinion, I can get off the local land, as I like to say.
Obviously, you know, in a war zone, how similar do you think we talk about this hypothetical Mad Max situation, but how different is a disaster going to be from a war zone type situation? Like, there's riots in the city, there's civil unrest, maybe there's some low intensity civil war going on or whatever the case. Do you feel that your system might be a bit different in a non-war zone than it would be in a war zone?
It's 2 different scenarios. But for me, war zone, I'm loading, like I'm going heavy on ammo. It's similar to how we did it, you know, like when we're deployed. Like we would go out for 2 or 3 days at a time. We would have, water. We would have MREs, and then we would have ammo, a lot of it. Because if we do get in a firefight, we have to be able to sustain ourselves. And when you're all worried about, dying, you're not really worried about food and water. You're trying to stay alive. You're not worried about, oh man, I'm kind of thirsty right now. It's more so like let me keep taking it to the enemy so I can survive to see tomorrow.
I imagine that you would probably, most people, they might bring a few hundred rounds and think, okay, I'm good for months, right? But like you're saying, if you get pinned down or something and you're in a firefight, you could go through that pretty quick, I imagine. So you guys are probably carrying quite a bit. How much ammo would you carry in a situation like that where you had to go, behind enemy lines?
Yeah, so we typically have what's called basic combat load, right? So that's 210. That's just the initial load. We would triple it, 630. On top of that, we have 9mm, we have grenades, and there's 12 pistols, right? So you time all of that by 12, and then that's what we typically carry.
Okay. And is there a lot of discipline around, how much shots you're using? Like if you're wasting to, you giving ammo to other guys when they run out, or how does that work?
We might not all be shooting at the same volume. There might be more guys on that side to where those dudes are almost blank on ammo. So we would pollinate the ammunition and make sure that we're all even across the board.
So it's not always the case that some guy is engaged in a more intense fight, so you guys are kind of balancing out that way. That makes sense.
Correct. And after every gun battle, the leadership will normally put on the radio, hey, give me a count of everything you've got. And then we'll come together, we'll consolidate, we'll reorganize, we'll spread out whatever ammo's left to make sure that everybody's even across the board, and we'll continue mission.
How do you manage stress in those situations? Like, do you guys do any training for stress inoculation or just stress management under those incredibly adrenaline-filled moments?
Training is intensified to rest. If we're in a range and we're shooting at, let's say, 5 meters, right? We're engaging with pistol at 5 meters. There's going to be a bunch of different things added to that scenario to induce stress, to make sure your shots are well placed. They might, switch up the targets. They might give you a bunch of different exercises to do, or they might put dummy rounds on your gun to where you got to transition and clear your pistol. Like, there's a bunch of stuff added to the training to induce the stress that you're going to face down range, right? To where once you do get down and see it, it's not the first time actually see it.
Yeah, I guess, if a person wanted to get that level of training, the best way to do it would be to go through basic training, or maybe, but for civilians, is there anywhere that they can get that level of training that you know of?
So,
Well, that's pretty informative. Pretty cool.
for civilians, I'm a big fan of just finding, whether it's retired police or retired special forces guys that are running combat marksmanship courses, and just go through those training. Because going to the range and just looking at a target and just shooting it over and over really doesn't, induce any stress, right? It doesn't really do anything for you. Actually going to a professional that can set up different scenarios for you and push you through it, and then go through and we like to call it AAR. So after you've gone through it, you'll come back and you'll talk about everything that just took place, and you'll identify all the mishaps, and then do it again. That'll give you that muscle memory that you need in certain situations. Another thing you can do too as a civilian is you can do what I like to call wargaming, right? So mentally, you can start going through different scenarios, right? Let's say you are in your car and you're going to Starbucks. You can just walk in it. Hey, I'm going to Walmart, or I'm going to Starbucks. What am I going to do if somebody comes up to me and try to hijack me, right? So I would grab my concealed carry pistol like this. I would, exit the vehicle like this. I would, you start playing it out in your mind. So where if it does happen, it's not foreign to you. You at least thought about it.
Here in Canada, we would pull out our concealed carry slingshots and get them ready, get them primed and ready. Yeah. Or our flashlight.
That's something that I do all the time. Like, I'm in the States and I'm going through all these different scenarios. Like, hey, I'm about to cross past this alley. What am I gonna do if somebody jumps out and try to do X, Y, and Z to me? Oh, I would do this. I'm not out there like a weirdo actually doing it, but I'm thinking through it, you know, and that gets me in the, you know, defensive mindset. You know, that gets my mind prepped and ready for if that situation ever presents itself, then I'm able to act accordingly.
Yeah, I think they call that like visualization training, where you're, you know, that way you're not caught off guard, you know, when things do happen. It seems that things always happen, you know, they always catch you off guard, right? But yeah, I think that's a good mental exercise, is just imagining, you know, and sometimes I'll usually be mindful of my surroundings. When I'm going into a place where I'm sitting, I'll position myself in a strategic way, because you know, I mean, the way things are going in the world right now, like, you know, things can just pop off any minute, anywhere. It seems there's a active shooter situation every other day, even here in Canada. So, you know, just practicing that OPSEC and getting in the mindset of somebody who is maybe just not paranoid, but being more defensive in terms of how you're, you know, navigating the world, you know.
Correct. It goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a group of marauders, okay? It's SHTF, you know, maybe there was a nuclear war and the government has collapsed, and there's maybe some pockets of like military rule, but for the most part, it's just this sea of lawlessness across the North American continent. And these group of marauders are going from house to house, and it's a fairly large group, maybe 15 to 20 people. And they're just ransacking houses, and they're about to come to your house. So how do you react in that situation if it's just you and your family?
So in this situation, if they're armed, I'm gonna react one way, of course, and if they're not, I'm gonna react different. For this scenario, we'll just say that they're armed, right? I'm in my house, I can see what they're doing, and I see that they're armed. So my intent would be to gain the upper hand by surprising them, as opposed to letting them come all the way to my house, where I'm not necessarily worried about, you know, engaging them. I'm worried about protecting my family, right? Because once somebody knocks on the door and my kids are behind me, like, I'm going to react completely different. So what I want to do is meet them out on a neutral field, whether it's me, you know, giving my wife, you know, the shotgun and telling her to hunker down, and then I grab my kid, my helmet, my gun, and then I go out, you know, and I talk to them from cover, or and then see what their intent is. But before I do that, me being a explosive expert, I'm going to set traps along their way, right? So if they're further down, I'm gonna, you know, put a couple of booby traps along the way, and I'm gonna stop them before they get to them, and I'm gonna talk to them. Hey, I'm such and such, I live in this house, what do you guys want? Right? Hey, I have stuff set out, I don't recommend you guys come down this road. Right? And then let the situation develop. But at no point in time do I want them to come to my actual house, right? Because at that point, it's 15 versus 1, and then my kids, you know what I mean? And my, you know, entire being is going to be screaming, you know, protect my kids by taking them and hiding them and doing whatever. I can't really focus on the fight at hand. So I want to meet them out in the open, neutral territory. I don't have to worry about my kids because they're behind me, and I can just focus on the threat ahead of me, right? I don't want them to come down that road and actually make it to my doorstep.
So you're talking about putting those detection systems, possibly traps, as you say, in order to keep the initiative and perhaps keep the conflict as far away from the castle as you can, so to speak, in order to...
Because fighting 15 folks in your house is completely different than fighting 15 folks out in the open. Especially, you know, since I'm trained, I can probably maneuver a lot better than those guys can. So I want them, you know, out and away from the house.
What is your assessment of the current situation in Russia and Ukraine?
I don't see that situation ending anytime soon. I think Putin is to the point now where his back is against the wall and pulling out is not an option. Because at that point, he doesn't want to lose face. Like, he doesn't want to appear weak. He went in initially thinking that he could win it, and I don't think he's going to leave until he does. So I can see that situation dragging on, and the more time he spends there, the more bold he's going to become, and eventually, and I hope this doesn't happen, I can see other nations getting involved in this.
Do you see maybe special forces playing a more active role in the conflict at some point?
If the U.S. gets involved, absolutely. Absolutely. Because our bread and butter, like I mentioned earlier, is unconventional warfare. So we would be, partnered up with the Ukrainians, training them, and then leading them through combat against the Russians, if we get to that point.
Yeah. And so you think that a lot of the training that the Ukrainians are getting is from special forces then?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why the Russians may be having such a hard time right now.
Yeah. Oh, and it's not a secret, after Crimea happened, that was a telltale sign of what was to come. Like, we knew the Russians had intentions of doing something else in there, which is why, as early as, Crimea, there were other agencies in there doing work with the Ukrainians.
What's your assessment, because you did a lot of time in the Middle East and those countries, where do you think that situation is going?
I don't think it's going to get any better. I would always tell my newer guys to respect those fighters, because they literally have been fighting since the days of Alexander the Great. Like, those people down there, they know nothing but combat. And they are resilient and resourceful. Alexander couldn't do it. Caesar couldn't do it. The Russians couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. Like, that place is just going to stay exactly like it is. Because everyone is out for themselves. There's no, I'm in charge, follow me. There's always going to be somebody trying to gain the upper hand. And that's just the reality that is the Middle East.
And what do they call it? The burial ground of empires or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, and it's actually pretty interesting, because while I was there, my team and I actually had a chance to visit some of Alexander the Great's old palaces. They were still standing. We were able to go through some of those same grounds. It was pretty interesting.
Well, I want to thank you for coming out today, man. And I hope to maybe get some hands-on training with you at some point in time. Maybe I'll come down there and you can teach me a thing or two, teach me how to clear a room, or some light tactical training. But I would encourage people to go and check out Green Beret Chronicles YouTube channel. Let's help get this guy up to 20,000 subs. That's going to be our goal with this video, and I hope that you can come back and keep us up to date with respect to what you're doing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the evolution of your channel, because
I'm about to go sub to it.
A lot of real world experience that can help out a lot.
I'm about to go sub to that.
I appreciate you, and if you need anything else,
so basically, he's training civilians for that SHTF. Which is a good thing.
The next time you see me,
hold on, let's go.
Next time you see me, I'm going to be able to set a cup of coffee on here.
See if I can sub to his channel.
Yeah. All right, thanks for coming out.
Okay, right here.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at Canadian Prepare.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, he's teaching civilians to get ready. Oh, that's right, because we don't know, man. We've been sold out, man. We've been sold out. I don't care what nobody say. Why China own most of the farmland, over here? All this going on. We're sold out. SHTF on the way, right around the corner. Go check his channel out. Green Beret Chronicles. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the video might be boring to some, but for me, I learned some stuff. I learned something. I'll tell you that. Oh, I love learning. What's up, Ja Angel? If you're still watching, enjoyed your video on the ex-military guy exposed. Yeah. Yeah, that video, crazy. That's crazy, right? That is crazy. Keeps peeps informed of the latest. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot going on, man. Try to get this pulled up. Well, what happened to it? Wow. Dark mode, brightness. Something going on with this. Okay, hold on. Something going on with this tablet. This tablet's so cheap. TCL, never get anything TCL. It's so cheap, man. TCL is so cheap. It's so cheap. Now I gotta restart it. This thing is cheap, man. Anyway, how you guys been though? Yeah, man. Just I'm just chilling on the Sabbath, waiting for the sun to go down, and I'm back to work, I guess. I don't know. Other than that, man, did you watch the video on the gang stalking? John Angel? I hope you did. That video was for every targeted individual. Everybody. That was for everybody right there. That's crazy, man. They just put on watch lists because they want to go to school board meetings. That's crazy, man. Come on, man. They done got ridiculous, man. And then I want to ask another question. Who's the closest person to you besides your kids? That's the next question. Who's the closest person next to you, that's to you besides your kids? Some people have people, but that's a real good question. I'll tell you that. Make it make sense. Man, I remember back in the day, man, I used to really like, making videos, and now just things have changed, things have changed right now. Like, sometimes we can't be just sitting worried about certain things. We got to really switch it up. Grow out of it, I'm trying to get this other video pulled up. My tablet's acting all funny, so. Oh, that's a nice car. I'll probably get up off of here in a second. Might as well. Ain't nothing going on. All right, well, you guys be blessed. Till next time, I guess. I'm getting off here.